All right, what's up, my friends? Welcome. Complete set review for Foundations. Important to note, complete set review for the main set. Foundations is a huge product, all right? There's a main set. It'll be in draft packs, the cards you draft in Arena, and the packs you open. There's also a large starter set, which cards that are legal and standard. That'll be a separate review. There's also a Jumpstart, which I'll not be reviewing for the most part. I'll go over some of the cards for historic and stuff. But first time here, hit the follow button. My name is Jim. Follow, support, like, comment, subscribe. A lot of work goes into these, and I appreciate your support. And 10 new brews and Monster Mythic will be happening on the release. No early access. That's really all I got to say, aside from thanks to Anthros, my sponsor, obviously, right? I sit all day, folks. I work all day. Take care of your body. Invest in yourself, all right? You spend hours and hours sitting, and your body is, you only get one. Once it's screwed up, you're screwed. So check out Anthros. Use the promo code in the link, please. JimDMTG for $200 off your order. I freaking love this chair. It's the only chair I've ever sat in where I'm sitting correctly and comfortably. Love it. Big thanks to my sponsor, Anthros. Check them out. And let's get right to red and do our thing with a braid. Art Legal and Standard. Great card. Good art choice. We're going to go kind of fast some of these cards because like they're already legal. We know what they do. So braid's great. Good card to have in standard. Great limited card. Axe Guard Cavalry, a recent reprint also. Fine draft common, 2 for 2, gives things haste. It's fine. Yeah, fine 2-drop for limited, nothing more. Battle Song Berserker is a new card. 4 mana for a 3/4 human berserker. Whenever you attack, creature you control gets +1/+0 and menace. This is a lot worse than Most Valuable Slayer from the last set. Menace much worse than First Strike. Because if you give your 2/2 menace, they just block it with 2 3/3s or whatever, and you just don't even trade up, or even 2 2/2s, you know? So I think this card is okay, but not great. So, okay draft card. I think it's a little worse than it looks. Not very exciting, so is what it is. Bolt Wave! Holy moly!
It's a trap!
Say what? It's our trap card. Folks, Lava Spike returns, all right? Bolt Wave is 1 red sorcery, 3 damage to each opponent. It's actually better than Lava Spike because it says each opponent. Therefore, if your opponent has a Leyline of Sanctity in play, you can still damage them with it, which is pretty cool. So why is it a trap card? Because this card is literally only good in burn, folks, all right? Folks, you know, we think about burn these days for modern, you know, Lava Spike's a key card in burn because it has a critical mass of, you know, 1 mana, 3 damage spells. This card will be good in modern burn, for sure. But aside from that, Lava Spike never saw any play ever, aside from that. Like, Lava Spike's a pretty bad Magic card, unless you have 20 or 30 of them. So I think this card, for the most part, people are going to be like, oh yeah, Lava Spike, burn. Play this in their mono red decks in standard and be really, really disappointed. So, you know, if there's a burn deck in standard that is actually just like, you know, 38 burn spells and lands, sure, it will see play. But this is not a card you just put in your red deck. This is a very, very specific card that is a very, very specific thing. And I don't think that thing has been good in standard for a really, really long time. So, is what it is. You know, it's a trap card for the set. Folks are going to think Lava Spike, think about Modern Burn, not think about anything else. Put it in their deck and be disappointed. I don't want that to happen to you. That's why you're watching the set review, right? So appreciate that. Thanks so much. In Limited, do not play this card. Unless you are heinously aggressive. Same reason. It's actually worse than Lava Spike in Limited because Lava Spike in Limited was arcane and you could splice onto it. It was a splice vessel, which is pretty good. So yeah, looks exciting, kind of cool. I guess fun in Commander, hit all your players or whatever, but not very good there either, I don't think. So trap card for red, Bolt Wave. Brass's Bounty is next. 7 mana sorcery, make a treasure for each land. This is just like really weird bulk rare. Just, you already have 7 mana. Why need 7 more mana kind of thing? And for some sort of dumb combo to get that keys off of artifacts or whatever, sure, but very unlikely. This is a silly commander card and nothing more. Brazen Scorch, 3/3 haste for 3. Not good enough for standard anymore. Pour one out for Boggart Ram Gang, but great limited card. Good beater. It's fine. Bulk up. 2 mana for an instant. Double creature's power. Flash it back. So for 8 mana, you can double, which is kind of fun. But kind of a cool card. Teamer Battle Rage-esque, but of course no evasion, and so no trample here is the big killer. This could definitely kill some folks, you know, with Slick Shot, Show Off, and whatever else.
Good lord.
But yeah, I think fringe playable, for the most part. In limited, I mean, probably not that great, But yeah, I think overall this card is just, worse than some other double strike effects. Is what it is. Burst Lightning returns. Wow. No more Shock, huh? We've had Shock and Play with Fire now for years in Standard. And they're playable but unexciting. Burst Lightning is pretty awesome, though. The ability to kick this for 4 damage late in the game is huge as far as ending with burn goes. And, of course, Shock has been playable in Standard now for a few years. It does what it needs to do. So this is a great Shock variant. Going to be legal for the next 5 years, which is a big deal because one of the things they wanted to be careful with in this set was not having cards that will overshadow the cards in the regular sets. But yeah, card's great. Great card for Constructed, great card for Limited. It's probably the best common for Limited, but we chose a different card, Bombin Common. So usually with Bombin Common, I'm trying to highlight a card that needs to be very important in Limited. It's not obvious. But great card. Burst Lightning is great. Good stuff. Chandra Flame Shaper. We get a new Chandra. There was one Planeswalker for each color of a set. Some are reprints, some are not. We get a 7 mana Chandra. That's heavy. 7 mana, 6 loyalty. +2 is to add red, red, red. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. Choose one and play it this turn, which is pretty powerful. +1 is to make a token that's a copy of a creature you control. Gives it haste, and then it dies via end step, so sneak attack. And the -4, that's right, Ultimate's -4, so you can use it immediately, is deal 8 damage divided as you choose among any number of creatures or planeswalkers. So almost like Ugin the Spirit Dragon-esque. When you play this thing, you can just kill their board, hopefully. That being said, this is a 7 mana planeswalker. That is a lot of mana. It's not uncounterable like some past Chandras. I think this card, for the most part, is not going to see any play. It's just way, way too expensive. The things you can get for 7 mana in Standard are, Atraxa, and many other ridiculous things, but it is a pretty clunky card. Obviously a great limited card, obviously a great sealed card. I think it could potentially see play. And for some way to cheat a Planeswalker into play, sure, I guess. We've tried Big Red a lot in the last few years. It never, ever works out. So it's a cool card, don't get me wrong. But this card probably needed to cost 6 mana and have 5 loyalty to be that exciting. Is what it is. Poor Chandra, How many cards does Chandra have at this point, right? Jeez. Courageous Goblin. Goblins return. Let's hear it for the Goblins.
Yeah.
All right. Love me some Goblins. Send it for a 2/2. Whenever it attacks while you control creature power 4 or greater, plus a and Menace. That's good. Fine limited 2-drop. Nothing crazy. Just good draft card. Not great, but good draft card. Crackling Cyclops. 3 mana for an 0/4. Cyclops Wizard. This is your draft, blue-red spells matter kind of card. Cast an creature spell, +3/+0. This card does stack up pretty well. Cast thing twice, flash it back, but it's a 6 power creature. That being said, it's pretty fragile and only good in blue-red, so this is the kind of card you'll get late in your draft. It'll only be good in your deck, but it'll be kind of fine. And so, fringe, playable, limited card, archetype kind of card. Dragon Trainer. Cool card. Again, really impressed with this set's ability to kind of just find simple, evocative designs that haven't been done before, right? 5 mana for a 1/1, make a 4/4 token. Great. That's a great limited card. It's 5 power over 5 mana, 2 bodies, get a flyer. Is bad against bounce spells. But yeah, great limited card, fun design. If you can flicker it or blink it somehow, awesome, even better, but just a cool card. Drakuseth Mauve Flames returns, and this is a fun card if you can give it haste. I've definitely done a few Drakuseths in my day with God Pharaoh's Gift when this card was legal the first time around. So if you can give it haste, awesome. But otherwise, less exciting. 7 mana for a 7/7 whenever it attacks. 4 damage something, and then bolt 2 more things. Pretty powerful. Good Smuggler Surprise if you can give it haste. Good with some of the haste cards in red. That being said, probably not good enough compared to those 7 drops, but obviously a bomb limited card. And just a fun card, too. Pretty cool. Electro Duplicate. 2 mana for a sorcery. Make a token that's a copy of target creature you control, but it's a sneak attack. So it has haste, and then dies at the end of turn. Flashes back for 4. This is a cool card, but it requires you to already have a good creature in play. So, if you're man, I can copy my Overlord and just, go nuts. You already have an Overlord in play. cool, you know? So kind of a win more card. Could maybe have some combo applications. But yeah, kind of a cool idea. Kind of cool to introduce new players to the idea of copying things and stuff, but not so great. And then limited, not great. Atali Primal Storm, the OG Atali returns. 6 mana for a 6/6. Whenever it attacks, exile top card each player's library. You may cast those spells for free. Obviously great in Commander, popular Commander card. Worse than the Atali that's currently in Standard, cost 7, because that card casts the things immediately. So being needed to attack is a pretty big deal. Meaning this card's probably not a Standard card, but ridiculous bomb and limited. Really, really fun card too. So love it. I'm in. Cool card. All about it. Firebrand returns, the old pirate monkey. If Lana Relves is going to come back, spoiler alert, gotta have ways to kill it. This does that. This is like a nuts and bolts mono red card. It'll see play in mono red if you're desperate for a card like this, but it's not particularly good. It's a fine limited card also, but you know, it's just okay. Fiery Annihilation, new card. The mana for an instant. 5 damage to a creature, exile it, and up to 1 target equipment on that creature. This card is like fine. You know, it's not great. It's not a great rate. But if you have to exile an Aquazotz, you know, or a Shield or whatever, this does that task reasonably well enough. So kind of like a fringe and a blot out kind of sideboard card where probably wouldn't main deck it, but nice tool to have access to. Great limited card, obviously. Firebrand Archer, good draft card, blue-red spells. If you play out of spells, this card's good. Fire Spitter Whelp, new card. The mana for a 2/2 flyer. If you cast a non-creature or dragon spell, do 1 to each opponent. Card's fine. You know, Winddrake, a lot of upside. Kind of like, you know, Winddrake and Gutter Snipe had a baby, which is cool. Flamewake Phoenix, great reprint. The mana for a 2/2 flyer. Has to attack every turn, but can come back every turn if you have a 4-power creature. This is a card that's seen a decent amount of play constructed, and if there's the right cards for it, it definitely could again. But it does require a lot of moving parts to make that work. But yeah, it's a cool card. Good limited card too. Obviously, you know, if it comes back once limited, you're super happy. So cool reprint. Frenzy Goblin. That's an old school Magic card. Would you believe this card won a Pro Tour in 2006? It was actually my first Pro Tour. Would you believe it? Huh? I don't have I was there, Gandalf, on my soundboard, unfortunately, but
Throw yourself in next time and rid us of your stupidity.
this card is unfortunately not very good. Back then, creatures were terrible, and you could get away with a 1/1 for 1. But these days, this card's way too small. So mostly like a hyper aggressive limited card, or I guess if there's some sort of goblin deck, maybe. Runbelt Horde Master is still legal, but Goblin Borders. 3 mana for a 3/2 Goblin Pirate with Raid, and it's a 4/3 if you attack this turn. Great draft card. You know, good rate, solid. It's a goblin, pretty cool. All caps in the flavor text, cruise control for cool. Goblin Negotiation, red X, sorcery, X damage to a creature, and then make 1/1 goblins for the excess damage dealt. Card's kind of sweet, cool limited card. Very clunky. You know, 5 mana, kill a 2/2, you get 1 token. That's like not great, but it does scale pretty well also. So it's fine. Clunky, okay limited card. It's cool. Cool art too. Love seeing my Goblin boys get in there and messing stuff up. Goblin Surprise. Apparently, you see a pair of goblins is not a good name, so they don't like that anymore. Same card though, right? 3 mana for an instant. +2/+0, Trumpet Blast, or make 2 tokens. At common now. This is a fine limited card. You know, can make two bodies, trade up. If you want to go wide, a lot of the white cards care about going wide for sure. Just kind of like your solid nuts and bolts card. Not great, not a super exciting card, but if you're interested in going wide, this card does both sides of the ball decently well enough. Gorehorn Raider. 5 mana for a 4/4 with Raid, and then it can shock a thing. It's limited filler. Just too expensive. You know, body's small, effect is kind of bad if you're behind. It's not great. Heartfire Immolator. Cool reprint. 2 mana for a 2/2 prowess is already good enough and limited. It's a wizard, and you can sacrifice to deal damage to a creature or planeswalker. Cool also. It's a good draft card. Not really a card for constructed, but very, very good draft card for spells decks.
Waka waka.
All right, a fun reprint here in Hidetsu's Second Right. One of the most popular meme Magic cards of all time. 4 mana instant. If target player's life is exactly 10, this deals 10 damage to them. So obviously, pain lands are in standard. So I'll go to 9, I guess, you know. The kind of card where it makes for a great story at F&M won't be relevant beyond that for the most part, but fun card, fun stories. Obviously, I'm smiling. You're obviously smiling too. It's just cool. It's just a cool card. And yeah, it's fun for sure. So fun card. If you die of this card limited, at me on Twitter. I'll give you a high five. All right? Cool stuff. Incinerating Blast. 5 mana for a sorcery, 6 damage to a creature. You may loot if you want to. Just like filler level removal unlimited. Having you discard first sucks because if you draw a land, if you like don't have a land in your hand and you draw a land, it's awful. Being a sorcery also sucks. So this is a pretty bad removal spell. If you're desperate, sure. Otherwise, eh. Involuntary Employment. So, Burst Lightning is obviously better with this card. All right? But I want to draw attention to the fact that we haven't had a common threaten in a really, really long time. And common threatens are a monster deal in Limited. If you are black-red and you're playing sacrifice stuff, this card is better than Burst Lightning. Steal your thing, attack with it, sack it to an effect and get a ability is awesome. And there are a ton of great sacrifice effects in black to utilize this with, which is insane. So this is going to be a phenomenal common if you are in the black, in black-red sacrifice. Otherwise, it's not going to be nearly as good. Like pick up back one, I'm taking Burst Lightning. But if you are the sacrifice deck and you can do that kind of thing, awesome. And this also makes the sacrifice deck go up in value because it's a common. You're much more likely to have access to this card than it being an uncommon, which has been the last few sets. So this is a huge one. Bombin Common for red. Not better than Burst Lightning, but a more important card as far as the draft format actually goes. And then Constructed, no. But Kellen, Planar Trailblazer. Best in show. Old Kellen here. Kellen's been all over. All right. Adventure cards, Bant cards. Now Kellen's here in red. I don't know what that says for Kellen's character being so malleable, but whatever. 1 red for a 2/1. Legendary Human Fairy Scout. So relevant types. It's also a legend from Mox Amber. And it's also a Jackal Pup, which is great. And then, like Figure of Destiny, you can level it up. So 2 mana, level it up. Whenever it deals damage to your opponent, you exile the top card of your library. You can play the card this turn. So you can draw cards. Awesome. And then, if it has that level, you can level it again, and it becomes a 3/2 double strike, which is huge. All right, so that's double triggers on the exile, makes it very hard to block, makes it a very real threat. This card is just really good. Like, you know, like the floor of a 1 mana 2/1 is just like almost there already in your red decks, and it's just so much more than that. Great card to mana sink into. Great card for Mox Amber and Pioneer. Which is a big deal. Mox Amber's a card that's like almost there, you know? And yeah, card's a banger. Love this card. Great limited card. Great constructed card. Big fan of Kellen here. And then also with cards that care about legends too. Big deal. So it's great. Love it. Trailblazer, best in show for red.
Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my god!
Look who's back! It's Crank Dog! Krenko's back. Cool. I mean, that's great. Krenko Mob Boss returns. Of course, if you don't know what Krenko is, it's a 4 mana 3/3. You can tap it to make X goblins, X the number of goblins you have. Just a classic exponential magic card. Krenko's the kind of card where without a way to give it haste, it gets a lot worse. You know, this is the kind of card that's, you know, obviously insane with Goblin War Chief or Goblin Chieftain. You know, worse without it. That being said, there are some haste effects in Standard. There's also Agatha's Soul Cauldron, which is a big one too. So maybe Goblin Soul Cauldron could be a thing. There are a number of Goblin things happening in Standard. Runveld Hordemaster is legal. There's a different Krenko that cares about artifacts, which is kind of cool too. So honestly, it's possible. I'm not saying it will be a big deal in Standard, but I would say it has a chance. It's obviously a phenomenal card in Limited. You untap with it, you win the game probably. And just a cool old card to see again. The old Mob Boss, you know, it's great. And I would put pretty good money on there being a Krenko Mob Boss, Agatha Soul Cauldron, Brew and 10 New Brews. look for that in 2 weeks of set releases, all right? But yeah, super great. A lot of fun to see. Great limited card. I'm just happy to see my boy. All right, I'm just happy to see my boy. Ryo Dragoncaller, new mythic, 6 mana, 4 enchantment. If you guys an instant or sorcerer spell, make a 5/5. Similar to the blue enchantment that does nothing when it comes into play, but wins the game if you untap with it. Fun card for newer players. Not going to be a player constructed, I don't think. But Bombin limited if you untap with it. But, you know, it's powerful, but you play it, does nothing. If you can wait till 7 mana and you can, like, play a shock with this, whatever, it's pretty good. So, like, I mean, maybe an outside shot, but probably not. But cool card. Seer Slicer Goblin. Wake up. All right? If you're looking for a goblin that might get goblins going here, it's this one right here. Seer Slicer Goblin. 10 for a 2/1. Goblin Warrior with a raid. Beneath your end step, if you attack this turn, make a goblin token. That compares pretty favorably to Mog War Marshal. If you can attack on turn 1, which is the hard part, right? Because the goblins aren't particularly big. But that being said, just any point in the game, just attack with a random shitter. Play this, get a token. That's awesome. One of the big important things about goblins is getting critical mass. This card does that pretty well. Pretty good enabler, pretty powerful rate, pretty good card. I'm a fan. And it's not because it's the goblin card, all right? Seer Slicer Goblin's great. So cool card. Could see play in non-goblin decks also to go wide. But yeah, good stuff. Like this card a lot. Not like a guarantee to see play or anything like that. Oops. But definitely a card that is pretty exciting. And if goblins are a thing, this card will be right in the middle. Also a great limited card. Well above rate and limited. And really, really good stuff. In older formats, maybe. Goblins are not particularly good in any format right now. But I would say that's a chance for sure. Seismic Rupture. The mana for a sorcery. We literally have Pyroclasm in standard right now. So
still a piece of
this is an instant or something like that. Cool, but yeah, not very exciting. In limited, sure, I guess. The original gangster? Shivan Dragon returns? Cool. That's all I gotta say. Cool.
Good old rock. Nothing beats that.
I cannot wait to win a game of limited with Shivan Dragon. That's all I gotta say. Uncommon, yes. That's just how... It could probably be a common these days, honestly, but it's still cool. Slagstorm. This is a cool card. You know, Brotherhood's End won't be illegal forever. Sweeper League also damage to players, giving it a possible main deck utility. But it's fine. Probably worse than other sweepers, but again, this is kind of like the Foundations card, where like you want to have a baseline of the effect and have cooler versions in the main sets. Cool. Fine limited card, too. Slumbering Cerberus. This is a cool card. It's mana for a 4/2, so obviously great stat line. It is not untap during your untap step, but has Morbid beneath each end step. Your opponents also. If a creature die this turn, untap it. That's pretty cool, you know. Hits pretty hard. Obviously, you'll be killing things, hopefully. It does turn on, like, the power 4 more synergies, which could be relevant. Probably not good enough for constructed, but great limited card. It's a fun design, too. You know, like, do I block? Do I untap this thing? What do I do? What if they can untap it, you know, on my end step or whatever? It's fun. It's a cool card. Like it a lot. It's not combo abusable because it only happens once on each end step, so you can't, like, untap it forever, but it's a cool card. Solar of Chaos. 4 mana for a 4/3. Creature can't block this turn. Limited filler. This card should probably not be in your deck. Spitfire Lagak. 4 mana for a 3/4. Landfall. Deal 1. More limited filler. You know, this one's a little better, I think, as far as giving you reach. But again, I would not really want this card in my draft deck. Strongbox Raider. 4 mana for a 5/2. Raid. If you attack this turn, exile top 2. Choose 1. You can play it to your next turn. Great. Phenomenal card. 5/2 draw card. You should be attacking your decks, obviously. This card's great. If I was like super defensive, I might not play this card. But good draft card. The body is good on defense, too. So you can block their 4/4 or whatever. Yeah, this card's good. Sure Strike, reprint, combat trick, okay and limited. Throw a possibility, great nuts and bolts card. You know, a card that will see fringe constructed play if the format calls for it. And then a fine limited card also. Twin Flame Tyrant. This would be an easy card to give a trap award to. I'm just not going to do it though. So 5 mana for a 3/5 dragon. Your things deal double damage. That has no haste, has no other abilities. Bomb Unlimited, fun casual card, not playable, constructed. Nothing too crazy there. That's it for red. So to recap. Uh-oh. I screwed up. I didn't put the recap cards in. I apologize. Real fast, best in show was Kellen. Bombin Common was involuntary employment. Our trap card was Bolt Wave. And our sleeper card was... Did I screw up? Oh my god. Oh my god.
Whoops. Whoopsie.
Everyone stop watching my content forever. I didn't do a sleeper card. I just screwed up. Oh my god. Boo this man! It was the Goblin? Alright, the Goblin. Right, I'm sorry. It was the 2-1 Goblin. I know what I'm doing. I'm good at this. Thank you very much.
No, I just do.
Let's go to green, alright? Like, comment, subscribe, support the content. If you like the show and you can deal with my misgivings sometimes, I appreciate it, alright? Everyone come back to watch the content. Green's coming up next.